Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Riot, and I'm sitting pretty starting riots right here on iLLANOiZE Radio. And every single week, you come and you watch these great interviews, and you still ain't subscribed. What are you doing? Hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on too.
The city of Chicago, there's a mayoral detail, right? And they pick cops that's inside of the police department, and they basically might pick one person and say, hey, pick about 6 people you trust, and then they're going to be my bodyguard. And so when Harold Washington was mayor, he went to a gentleman by the name of Howard Sappho, who was president of the African American Police League. There were a union inside of the union. And when he became mayor, he said, I want you to pick the people you trust. And fortunately, my dad was one of those people.
This is iLLANOiZE Radio with Biko, iLLANOiZE Jones, and Pretty Riot. Going down right now.
Welcome world, welcome world, welcome world. You're tuned in to iLLANOiZE Radio, Chicago's most valuable radio show. I'm your host, Biko, alongside Pretty Riot, iLLANOiZE Jones. And as always, we bring you all the illest guests from around the city and globe. And today, we got the homie, Shermann Dilla Thomas in the building.
Word. Thank y'all, man.
Thank you. Thank you for coming through.
Man, yes, thank you, because, man, bro, I know your schedule be hectic.
Bro, it's ridiculous. But it's amazing, man. Like, it's the ultimate flex. Whenever my wife try to make me do the dishes, I just show her what's on my schedule. Like, I'm not doing no dishes. Look at this. Nah, just
Is it because of the schedule, or you just don't want to do the dishes?
It's because of the schedule and the dopeness that's on the schedule, man. I wouldn't have thought that I'd have these opportunities, you know?
It's a great way to get out of doing the dishes.
Look, he done taught me something already. I'm on it.
Show your schedule, you get out them dishes.
Yeah, buddy.
Gonna be like, baby, look at this duplex right here. Look at this. I can't do the dishes today or empty garbage. You feel?
Now, the garbage I don't never play with. That's a thing that you ain't gonna win that one. So.
You right. You absolutely right.
The dishes you can win. The garbage,
you can take the garbage on your way out.
Yeah, bro. 100%.
Now, you know, Shermann, man, you know, for those that don't know, we have Chicago historian in the building. I know you call yourself Chicago urban historian, but brother, you done by far stretch past that. You are a historian because you cover more than just urban. You cover it all, from west to south to north to east. You do a lot. And I remember back in September of 2021, before like things popped for you when you started going on a heavy press run, I reached out to you because I used to see your content on my timeline all the time. And I reached out, and that's why I say it's long overdue, because after I reached out, it was a wrap. You was on this outlet, that outlet, several news outlets, broadcast platforms. Like, it's been a blessing, and I'm proud to say, man, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
How does that feel? Like, because I know you was a city worker, construction worker or something, right?
Yeah, I work for ComEd. I'm an area operator, so that's a fancy way of saying I'm a high voltage electrician. I work downtown, so me and like 13 other dudes run the downtown power grid. So every building, all the big buildings, Lower Wacker Drive, Sears Tower, everything, we control like the flow of the electricity, right? And when those buildings go out of power, we go restore them, put them on emergency power. So like you remember a couple years ago, Sears Tower lost power for the first time. And I was part of that work group to help get the power back up. So that's what, man, it's hard to say that's my day job now. That's becoming my second job more or less.
Yeah, how's that? What type of feeling is that to know that the main job, the priority job that help pays the bill is like not even like, I don't even really like
almost becoming secondary.
Yeah, it's crazy to even think, especially considering like what the main job pays, right? Like I'm a union employee, you know what I'm saying? I worked my way up from being a meter reader. So as an area operator, I make $57.72 an hour. You know what I mean? So to even be looking like to walk away from a 6-figure job, word, right?
I had to do some math in my head, like even the 75 cents.
Right? I count to 75 because, you know, then if I'm at work on a Sunday night, right, that's double time, you know what I'm saying? So, right, that's 100 plus an hour, you know what I mean? If it's raining and the lights go out and I got to be out there for 16 hours, right, on a Sunday, right, it's a $1,600 a day, you know what I'm saying? So one, I'm always talking about that because I like promoting the trades, right, and promoting that type of thing is possible for us, right? But to then be in a position to where like I could be considering walking away for that, for positivity, right? Like nothing against, anybody making money any other type of way, right? That's not my business. But most of the time you either playing ball or you getting popular on glamorizing us, hurting us, right? Either telling your story, right, which again is your business, or you one of those people who see that that's what's making money, so that becomes your rap style, right, or your acting style. You know what I mean? And I'm not again, I'm getting recognized for the opposite of that, right? For just telling the positive side of Chicago, and it's really, really humbling.
And I mean, even hearing you say that, hey, everybody, I still work a job outside of my creativity. I feel like people need to hear that because, it's not going to say everybody, but people get wrapped in social media and they start seeing certain things, and they feel like a job is not needed for you to really get the job done. So hearing you say that is, man, my brother, is because I worked a 9 to 5 for some years.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So it is needed to hear. And
you gotta fund the dream, and that's just the Chicago way, right? Like all the dopeness that we appreciate about what Chicago has given to this country as far as culture and phenomenon and swag and all that other kind of stuff. Like all those people had day jobs while they was doing it, right? Like Ebony and Jet from John H. Johnson, right? But he worked for the Supreme Liberty Life Insurance Company. The building's still standing. It's on 35th and King Drive. And what he did was he used to write in their summer like brochures, right? So the life insurance people would go around and sell life insurance, and they would sell in these different brochures. And he would tell stories in those brochures to keep you hooked, to keep you reading, right? So that you would order the life insurance. He did that for a long time before Ebony and Jet popped, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He worked his job. You gotta fund the dream. You know what I mean?
Plus, a lot of jobs keep people from dreaming.
Right. And that's what I was just about to say.
You know what I mean?
Can I personally bring in an example? So I used to work for a job. I'm not even going to say their name. But like Jones said, they try and keep you away from your dreams. And this job definitely fired me over my dream. So like, have you ran into any obstacles or challenges that led you astray?
I'm happy that I'm working for the newer version of ComEd, right? I've been there for like 12 years now at this point. When I first started, the people who were running the show then would have seen that maybe my first couple videos was made in the work truck, right? And they'd have sent the email down like, hey, tell him he can't do that no more, da-da-da-da-da-da. I think smartly the leadership that we had at that particular point recognized, like, one, it's positive, you know what I'm saying? Two, I'm not an idiot, right? So they did come to me. They didn't come to me to stop me. They just asked me, what are you doing and how does this work? So this was my explanation to them. I said, if I own a building, right, I'm a landlord, but I work this job. If a tenant calls me and says, hey, my heat ain't working, can I call an HVAC company while I'm on your clock to get somebody over there to fix their heat? Let's say I'm just in the truck, right? It's just some downtime, I'm not physically doing anything, right? I'm sitting in the truck waiting for my work orders, and somebody calls me and says, hey, it's cold in here. They say, yes, you can get somebody to go. You can't leave and go do it yourself, right? But you can make some calls to fix that. So I said, so what's the difference if I'm waiting on work and I record myself telling a story? You have no idea when I recorded the full story. You don't know when I edited, when I did the research. You don't know any of it. You just seen a 60-second clip of me in your truck, and that's enough for us to have a meeting. That ain't smart. And you know what? They was like, yo, you right. I was like, it would take me that same time to call and send a HVAC company to fix one of my properties. And we have thousands of ComEd employees who own buildings in this city, right? And y'all let them do it. So let me do my thing. And if something comes up of it and it's a negative to the company, I'll stop. And they was like, rock out, man. And it's been that.
Wow,
shout out to
ComEd. That's so supportive.
Very supportive. Shout out that you
was ready.
Yeah, I was about to say, he made a very strong case.
He did.
Very strong case. Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Right, and I need you to do one sminy. Yo, what's up? It's your girl, Pretty Riot, and I just need you to do one small favor for me. Head on over to your app store, search iLLANOiZE. Hit the first thing that pops up because we the one and only, and download the iLLANOiZE app. So I have a question. I know we're going to get into what you really do, but I need to know, when did you fall in love with Chicago enough to kind of make a career out of that?
Oh, man, that's a really, really impossible question to answer. Definitely, though, when I was a child, I remember I got into it with my parents when I was like 7, And I knew the city so well then. I lived on 81st and Troop. I walked out the door and walked to 89th and Cottage Grove. I was 7 years old, but I knew enough to walk down my block, Troop Street, till I got to where I saw 8 and 7, and then to go east, right? But in my brain, it was turn left and I got to Cottage Grove and turn right and go to my grandma's house, right? Because I had seen my parents take that way so many times, and when they drove, I used to always be out the window staring at the buildings, right? I could tell you, like, right before when we're gonna get to what gas station or what restaurant was on what corner, right? Like, I could identify the city in that way then. And just as I got older, like I was telling y'all before we started, like nowadays I feel like Chicago's Forrest Gump. You know, like when you watch Forrest Gump and he's like at all those pivotal moments, you know what I'm saying? He's the guy playing ping pong when they play China. He's there when the president gets shot. He did see that, right? Like, I had all the Chicago experiences, man. I worked in Mayor Daley's summer job and took the train as a 14-year-old. And my first Mayor Daley job was at City Hall. And I learned like how the city worked, right? As a 14-year-old, I was a lifeguard, right? My mom made me a fake birth certificate.
Hey, mamas was doing that back in the day, because I ain't gonna lie, my mama did that too. But
my mom made me a fake birth certificate so I could be a lifeguard, and I lifeguarded at all the pools, man. North side, south side, west side, you know, all the multiple beaches. And then in this particular job now, like I said, I got started as a meter reader. And what people don't recognize or realize is that if you got electricity, it has a meter somewhere because somebody paying for those lights. And so, like, as a kid, right, there's just certain neighborhoods we don't go into if we don't live into. But I got to go in there to read the meters no matter what, man. And it opened my world to the city. And then I guess lastly, because my dad was a cop, you know, my pops was a cop for 32 years. And he you know, he saw the city as a policeman, man, right? And so he would tell me these stories, right, you know. If my friends was gang banging, right, he had the other side of the story, right? He was a police officer when Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover were out. He was a police officer when David Barksdale was alive. He was a police officer when Mickey Cardwell was the last number runner, right? He was a police officer on the streets when Willie Lord was setting up the vice lords, right? He was a cop when T-Fly and King Neal and all of them was still alive, and you know what I mean? Like, so he could give me those stories.
Wow.
First.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Gang history.
Great. Look.
Okay.
Look, man.
Listen.
And then also learning about your father. He also was like a security for Harold Washington.
Yeah, right. So all mayors. So here's a quick lesson, right? The city of Chicago, there's a mayoral detail, right? And they pick cops that's inside of the police department, and they basically might pick one person and say, "Hey, pick about 6 people you trust, and them they're gonna be my bodyguard." And so when Harold Washington was mayor, he went to a gentleman by the name of Howard Sappho, who was president of the African American Police League. They were a union inside of the union. And when he became mayor, he said, "I want you to pick the people you trust." And fortunately, my dad was one of those people.
Wow, bro! Like just hearing
Sound like
that,
your dad need a statue.
Yeah, real talk.
Your dad need a statue.
And he's filled with history, which you know filled you as well. And I also learned that your father's from the west side of Chicago.
Yeah, he's the west side of the building that where he grew up in isn't standing anymore, right? But he grew up basically on Lexington and Holman, like right around there. Yeah,
I'm from the west side, so I had to bring it up, my brother.
I just did North Lawndale tours, man. I love the west side. One, people don't know that the original Sears Tower is over there and still standing right in Holman Square. So the Sears Tower downtown is their second office. Sears Roebuck and Company started on the west side. The tower is still standing. It's on Arlington and Holman. And that big old brick building.
What that got right there by the it's like a little Chicago Youth where they
Yep.
What by the school too? It's
yeah, absolutely. So all of those buildings are connected to the old Sears complex, but the original Sears Tower is still standing over there. That neighborhood was German Jewish, and then once it started to get African American, they left in the early 70s and they constructed the Sears Tower. Right. So I was just taking people over through North Lawndale. Of course, they know people should know Martin Luther King stayed in North Lawndale when he was here in 1966 on right there on Hamlin Street, 15th and Hamlin. But not just that, man. The Douglas Park and a lot of those black churches are former synagogues, right? Because that neighborhood was Jewish, and we don't spend enough time looking up. So I promise you, next time you're on the west side, look at any of them old churches, you're gonna see the Star of David, right? But they're a Christian church, where you're gonna see the crosses at eye level. But if you look up, you'll see the tablet, the Hebrew tablet, and Stars of David on a lot of those churches, man. So I'm always on the west side showing it off.
Bro, you got me smiling so hard right now.
How do you retain all this information to be able to just like regurgitate it like that? Like, I don't even know if that's a good question, but I'm in amazement at just how you just spit that information out like that, like with ease.
Thank you. It was so terrible. Like, I can't tell you what I had on yesterday. At any given point, I don't know where my kids are. I got 7 kids. I don't know where they are. My wife always telling me like somebody got practice or something. I can't remember none of that stuff, man. But like, Chicago just is in me, man. It really and sincerely is. And I guess today I can answer that by saying I just think that like I'm a storyteller or a griot, or you know what I mean. Like that's a part of the African American tradition. And what I'm learning is like, storytellers or people who do it verbally are often better and more accurate than people who like write books, right? Because when you're writing, you're thinking and you're trying to, you know, put the right word for it, right? But when I'm telling the history, I'm just telling you what happened, right? And who was there and who did it. And I'm not trying to impress you with me at all, right? I'm trying to make sure you understand the subject.
So where do you get like all your information from books and doing research, or from people just
both? Man, I'm so my wife there's an old house that was constructed in 1906 on near my house on 81st and Morgan, and I saw the people moving out, and like I will pull over when I see that happen and be like, yo, how long did y'all live here? Did you buy your house from white people? Were you the second generation of blacks to live over here in this neighborhood? And most of the time people want to talk about the stuff that they proud of, especially if they were the generation that bought from that white family. Oh, now I ain't going nowhere. My wife has left me. I had the Uber home, total strangers, right? But I need that story because they're leaving, right? You know, and somebody has to record it, man. So I write their name down, and they're always happy to show me their pictures.
Oh, so you get the history of the house.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So they come, hey, you know what's name used to stay right here. You know, they were the first. That's dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang, that's so cool.
But before we get in the break, too, speaking of like your research, Encyclopedia Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, do you use that often?
Oh, buddy, it's accurate too. It's pretty dope, right? And it was done by the sociology department at the University of Chicago. You know, the University of Chicago invented the academic study of sociology. They also invented the thought of learning disability, right? Those are two things that got created here in Chicago. So, yeah, but the University of Chicago also names the Chicago neighborhoods, right? So their sociology department laid out, drew the borders, and named all 77 of our neighborhoods. So Encyclopedia Chicago is pretty accurate. I do use it.
He just said 77 neighborhoods in Chicago. I don't know if y'all caught that, but he just gave y'all how many neighborhoods is in Chicago. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so more accurately, it's called community areas, and the city is divided into 77 of them. Yeah, I encourage everybody listening to go visit them. All right, so it's like we're not gonna name them all. Right, we got to go to break. But you know, like Roseland is a community area, Auburn Gresham is a community area, North Lawndale, Pilsen, right, heart of the city. Then there's some y'all ain't heard of. You should check out.
Oh, y'all watching me? So if y'all watching me, y'all should already know that iLLANOiZE is on YouTube. So y'all can subscribe to us, right? Do me that favor and just subscribe. Hit that bell. What you waiting for? What's going on? You're now tuned into the dopest thing to hit the streets since crack cocaine. iLLANOiZE Radio. I'm Illinois Jones, and we got the historian in the building, man. I'm talking to him. I'm soaking up so much game. We got Dilla in the building, still chilling with us, man. That was a nice introduction. It was nice though. You feel me? Yeah. It was nice though, man. I like the shirt too, man. It's dope, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to brand. I did a tour today anyway. Right? I took the Cook County Tax Assessor's Office on a neighborhood tour today, so I was trying to.
So, how often do you get groups of professionals like that to actually take your tours? Because I think now that you just said that, I feel like that's really important for people that don't look like us to see that.
So I'm pushing that on them, right? Everybody says they need diversity and equity training. I think if you're doing business in Chicago, taking my neighborhood tours is a good way to learn about the people that you're going to be doing business with, right? And also just a better understanding on why certain sides of the city have and why certain parts of the city does not have. So to answer your question, nowadays, 2-3 times a week, I'm taking a corporate group out.
That's decent.
2 to 3. You said 2 to 3 times a week?
Yeah.
On top of ComEd?
Yeah.
On top of having 7 kids?
On top of the weekend tours, on top of making history content and going through the archives to make sure I tweet something cool and historic, and still making the TikToks and writing the pilot.
Yeah.
time management
Yep,
skills.
the pilot too.
I ain't got no time management skills. I just like I pick something to do and I do that thing, and then when that's like off the list, right, and I go to the other thing, and I try to leave time to write the pilot every now and again. You know, like what you do when you got an opportunity, right? You either like fold or you like go all in. So I got to go all in.
Yeah, and it's, you know, at the end of the day, I know for sure what's coming in the near future is big, not just for you, but for the family and Chicago.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about is this Chicago history show. How you just said you was writing on you working on a pilot.
Yes, sir.
I remember you tweeted you ain't never did no pilot before, but you about to learn. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about this history show with I think his name is Thomas Lennon and
absolutely.
Van Lathan, and I heard Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, Chance, right. So there something happened here in Chicago historically, right? Over the course of let's say about a month, right? I don't want to give away too much of it because I'm like this close to getting a check, and then it'd be fucked up if we don't get the check because I messed up if we don't get the check, right? So anyway, we're telling a history story that happened in the Cabrini Green projects. Thomas Lennon is one of the creators of Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller, right? He helped write that. He also was Lieutenant Dangle in Reno 911, right? Right. New Boots Goofing, right? That's Thomas Lennon, a really famous actor. And then Chance is going to be an executive producer of it, but he's also going to be a starring role. I hope this is one of the things that helps him win an Emmy, right? Something like he can start winning them acting awards, right? So he got a Grammy and an Emmy. But yeah, man, I went to Chance. He invited me out to their studio, and I pitched them on like the idea, and they loved it. And so then using that Chance love that I hit up this studio that I know had a deal with Netflix, Chicago Party Aunt, Chris Witowski. And I was like, hey, man, I just pitched Chance this show I did that he loved. And he said he would definitely be in it. He's like, man, Chance hot as hell, man. If you could get that in writing, man, we could probably get going, man. So, man, I sent Chance an email. Then it was like, okay, well, we need you to write this treatment to tell us like what the show is going to be about, how many episodes you think it's going to be, right? Who some of the characters are, who you see playing those characters. And there's a format that needs to be in, bullets and 1 and 1A and all this other kind of stuff. So, man, I hit up Google and got a bunch of samples.
Hey,
man,
YouTube
just
University.
Like, look, and plugged and played. You know what I'm saying? I think the last draft I turned in still had like some wrong date from like 2013 because I forgot. You don't
got
remember
to erase
edit
it.
everything. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of edits, you know? But they appreciated it nonetheless.
Nah, that's dope, man. That's dope,
That's what
man.
we working on.
You spoke on episodes too. How many possible episodes can we see coming?
I would love to see it be like a 5 to 6 episode things. What I would like to see it be like 5 or 6 episodes. What I would really appreciate it if it's like one season tells one story, right? So we had a mayor that was a woman before Lori Lightfoot. Her name is Jane Byrne. So maybe we tell the Jane Byrne story in one 6 episodes, right? Then another we tell Harold Washington's story in another 6. And then maybe we go back in time and we tell the Jones brothers in 6 episodes, right? Or maybe we go further back in time. I think one of the greatest Chicago high school cohorts was the class of 1935/36 at DuSable High School. That's John H. Johnson, Nat King Cole, Dinah Washington, Harold Washington. Red Fox was part of that class. And then they were taught by this dude named Walter Diet, who's this phenomenal band leader. He's the reason why it's Walter Diet High School and Park over there on 51st Street.
All that in one class.
Yeah, that was their class, their graduating class. Right, and they went on and changed the world. Right, Tamil Black, the historian, just passed away not too long ago, lived to be 102. Right, like absolutely crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's pressure.
Yeah,
right. So
Come up that class and you're not nothing.
And
Look,
then
right.
should be going to DuSable too.
Right, but just think about that on film, right? You seeing black kids in the dress of the 1920s and 30s going to DuSable High School, right? You got Red Fox cracking jokes on that King Cole's perm as a high school kid. You know what I'm saying? You got Harold Washington already like being political as a senior in high school, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff. And at that time, right, Jesse Owens had just got through with Berlin, right, and won the gold. You know where he moved after that, right? He came and moved to Chicago. Jesse Owens is buried in Burnt Oak Cemetery on 67th and Cottage Grove, right?
Wow.
So,
wow, never knew that.
Ida B. Wells is buried in there too, right? She came and made Chicago's home. The house she stayed in is still standing on 35th and King Drive right now. It's a Chicago landmark. So I want to like encapsulate our stories, man. The BDGD Blackstone story is a Chicago story, right? And I don't think that we necessarily have to skip over that, but I don't think that that's where like Chicago history starts.
But that's something that needs to be said if we're going to do tours about Al Capone. I mean, those guys was fundamental early on in their careers.
You know, but I do talk about them, but I don't talk about them in a traditional settings. I'll give you an example, right? Back in the day at Cabrini Green, there was this organization called LSD, Lord, Stones, and Disciples, right? And it was a representative from each of the buildings. Now, on any other day, they was going to shoot at each other and whoop each other's butt. But when it came to an LSD meeting, they couldn't fight. And what it was is they made sure that the city of Chicago hired people who lived in Cabrini Green to do Cabrini Green work. And if a certain percentage of the contractors wasn't from the hood, then basically the Stones, Lords, and folks was telling them that we're going to shoot and rob any contractor that come in here because we tired of y'all sending them white boys in here to make money off us. And you know what the city did? It's in the newspaper. Mayor Daley sat down with the Lords, Stones, and Disciple representative and gave them a percentage of the dang on jobs for contracting at the Cabrini Green. I tell those gang stories. You know what I'm saying?
Them the type of stories we need to hear, though.
Facts, though.
I'm truly excited to see what goes down with this Netflix series. I know you've put a lot of work into it, and when I say a lot of work, I'm talking about your TikTok. You know, how many TikTok videos do you have now?
I need to count so that I can better answer that. I know I'm on the other side of like 200, 230. I'm definitely on the other side of 230 videos. That's a lot of videos.
Yes, it is. And when you just said that, you know, you do so much throughout the week, from the Mahogany Tours to ComEd, to being a father, to you know, visiting different places. Like today, you have to head over to Hyde Park Summerfest.
Yeah. I'm over there right now. I hope Lupe started late because I want to catch his set and I want to catch Busta Rhymes set. But yeah, I'm on my way over there, right, to film TikToks for the Hyde Park Summerfest. Yeah.
So hey, look, y'all keep it locked. We finna jump into a real quick music break. Is your business struggling? Trying to get your followers up? No problem. You can advertise with us right now. Tap that link above. Now let's get back to the show. Man, we went through a lot throughout this conversation. I mean, bro, we still got to touch on a few more things though. So, Mahogany Tour.
Yes, sir.
You know, I remember, you know, news went out that you were looking for additional help to help upgrade your bus.
Yeah. Right now, we are leasing buses, which is cool, right? I like supporting local companies. So we lease a bus from maybe about 3 different local partners that we work with. You go to ChicagoMahogany.com and you book neighborhood tours with me, or either private like group family tours, or you just we have tours scheduled that leave on Saturdays and Sundays, and we highlight different neighborhoods depending on that weekend, right? But because I'm leasing it, I got to set a certain price point. You know what I mean? Because I got to pay the people for the bus. We figured if I own the bus, then we could bring our price point down, right? Because we're not paying whatever their overhead is. And then we can kind of like run a model almost like pay what you think you want to pay, right? Pay a particular donation, kind of like if you go to the Garfield Park Conservatory. I think if you understand the history of a space, you will respect it more. And so we trying to like just highlight and show people the true history of the South and West Side. I don't do any downtown tours. I will do some North Side tours just because I like the architecture up there. But primarily we highlight South Side neighborhoods and West Side neighborhoods pretty much exclusively. And so we started a crowdsourcing campaign. The Chicago Community Trust is giving us a matching grant of $100,000, and then pretty much all of the sports teams here in the city have given donations of $25,000, right? So that coupled with some other private donations. This Tuesday, we're going to submit an order for get a Freightliner bus built out And then, like I said, I think it's gonna be dope to like drive. Right now, when we're going through the neighborhoods, people do recognize me, right? Even yesterday, the Chicago Fire Department recognized me. They were blowing the fire truck horns at us as we were driving by for showing love, right, North Lawndale. So I can't wait for the bus to be wrapped, right? And it says tours. It says Chicago Mahogany Tours, that we're there to lift up those spaces, man. My dad used to say a rising tide raises all ships, man. So the better the South and West Side does, the better the city going to do. And I'm really happy to play a small part in that.
Man, that's dope as fuck, man.
Sounds bigger than small, my brother. You say a small part. That sounds like a very big part because it's not easy doing anything that you're doing. And to be honest, I'm gonna spill the guts. I'm gonna spill the bean. The bus that you just showed us, man, Chicago. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's beautiful.
Soul Plane on wheels.
Oh, the real. It is beautiful. It looks very comfy. And it's dope to hear that things worked out because I've seen you on several shows promoting, and it's dope that people came together. Even the sports organizations and the city in general came together, and to help out. So, congrats, my brother. We got to give you some claps on that because that is not easy at all, and you did it. And we will definitely be on a Mahogany Tour soon with you as well. So
yeah, y'all got to come take one. I think it you're gonna be so happy and mad at me though, because you won't look at the city the same. I point out like the Chicago common brick versus the fake brick, right? That the buildings are made of. I help you to differentiate the periods that architecture is built in, right? Like there's a certain size of a 1940s two flat versus a 1920s two flat, right? I explained to you why when you're in Pilsen, you step down the stairs to go in people's front door because they changed the Chicago street grade and installed sewers after those houses were built. We point out a lot of stuff as well as just the history of that neighborhood that we in.
Yeah. Right?
You need to be on that. You need like the Mr. Right? You need a whole TV show like a Discovery Channel.
Real though.
That would work. That Discovery.
Damn,
Yo,
Mr. Dilla's neighborhood.
Word. I'm still in that.
Go ahead.
So,
just give me a 10%.
You know what I'm saying?
Just a little.
Before we let you make your exit, brother. Two things: fatherhood. You have 7 beautiful kids, an amazing wife. For you to do so much, like I want to know, how do you even find time to put together some of these TikTok, not even TikTok video, I'm just say videos in general. How do you even find time to do that, and how much time does it take you to make these, to create these videos?
Ooh, that's a big one too, right? If I'm very, very familiar with the subject, right, like I'm just in a mood to make a video about something I already know about, I don't got to do a whole bunch of research about. We're probably in that office for like 3.5 hours to make one video, 160-second video, right? Mm-hmm. If I don't know the subject, right, somebody has tagged me in something. One day there was a block full of exposed bricks, right? Everybody wanted to know when did that happen, so I did the research, right? It took me like a day and a half to research it, and then that same 3 hours to do that video, right? And I include my kids, you know what I mean? Like I make sure, that's the whole reason I got started. Right? I started doing TikToks because my daughter wanted to dance, and since I suck at dancing, I thought history videos would be better, right? And they're in there when I'm doing research, right? I don't really kick them out until it's time to start recording. I need them to be quiet if they're not going to be featured in it. And then the benefits of it all, right? Like the Chicago Cubs have a player going into the Major League All-Star Hall of Fame. His name is Buck O'Neil, right? Who's the first black Major League coach. Because I talk Chicago history, they invited me to come tell his story when he goes into the Hall of Fame down at Wrigley Field, right? Like that's super dope. And when people ask me that, instead of being like, you pay me $15,000, I might say pay me less than that, but give me a suite so my whole family can come and experience this with me, right? And that's kind of like how I do everything around here, right? You know what I mean? Instead of like being money hungry, like the Museum of Science and Industry wants me to do content with them, right? Instead of like trying to break their bank, like give my family passes so my kids can be learners, right? And so I incorporate them in what's going on, and I take them on tours, bro.
That's dope as fuck, man.
And speaking of your kids being learners, I've learned that their grades have increased.
It's one, man, like I just said, right, I got a nice carrot, you know what I mean? You want to be at the Sweet at the Bulls game, you can't be pulling up with no C's at the crib, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna get you left. But they see directly, right? Dad's nose is in a book learning about Chicago. Then he makes this video, and when he makes this video, people like it and it gets shared and this and that, right? So it's immediate gratification for them. And so that makes them study, man, and that's super dope, man. It's really dope.
Wow.
It's dope as fuck, man.
And before we let you get up out of here, man, I got to bring up a tweet. It was a tweet that caught my attention. I believe I saw it on Instagram, but I went back to your Twitter. And you said this. You said, if you are a Chicago artist on the come up, urban radio will not play your music. But if you get killed, they will certainly blast your image on all socials for clicks. This gatekeeping they do really sucks. And you said, and we got to start checking them on it.
Man, let me tell y'all a quick story. I'm going to be late to the Brew Fest. Let me tell y'all this story, right, about Chicago radio and what we used to be. So, it's the name of the group Digital Planets, right? No, that ain't the name of the group. Take me and I understand, make a better man. Right, that song, right? Whatever that particular song is, right? Ain't no cursing in it. He ain't talking about shooting nobody. He said the most he say, but an African, but I had to knock the brother out for being rude. But you know that particular song, right? So anyway, GCI had a rule that they would not play rap music before 6 o'clock. That was their rule, right? You know, this is back in the day. And so that song came out, and Arrested Development is the name of the group, right? And so Tom Joyner was the DJ from 2 to 6. And he loved that song. It's a very positive, uplifting song. So he played the song. Elroy Jones, who was the program director, suspended Tom Joyner for playing that song. Now, that was Tom Joyner, the fly jock. He was flying from Chicago to Dallas every single day. He would do a night show in Dallas and his day show in Chicago. That's why his name is Tom Joyner, the fly jock, because he was flying. And they wouldn't play that particular rap song. So they suspended him. Doug Banks found out that they suspended Tom Joyner, and he came in the next day and he played that dang on song 15 times in a row. He said, suspend me, because he knew that you can't suspend the 2 o'clock DJ and the 6 p.m. DJ. You're going to get 2 fill-ins. Our ratings going to tank. People are listening for us with the headliners. That ain't going to work. That's called radio activism. You know what happened? Doug Banks and Tom Joyner are both radio legends, right? And they ain't worried. They ain't worried about their jobs. They both went syndicated. We got a group of DJs right now that's like worried about jobs that don't even give you a pension, right? They're going to forget you as soon as something else come hot. They're making you pay into a 401k. They're not even damn matching that thing, but you won't play any positivity ever, right? But as soon as Duck get killed, right, you're going to play the hell out of all of his music. But they make songs called Slide, and you don't even make those artists acknowledge that term comes from Chicago. Right, you don't even don't get me started on the cowardice. Some of the people that find themselves behind the microphone in our radio stations, and I got a boss too. But let me tell you about this other thing called discernment. Right, before I was the area operator, I was the cutoff man. My job was to cut your lights off if you didn't pay your bill. Now, what you just say, I got 7 kids. At that particular point, I think I had 5, right? Because me and the wife, we didn't make the other 2 kids. Anyway, I still had 5 kids that I had to answer to.
You
right?
still had emotions.
It's all these things, right? A family, right? With bills, all this. If I knocked on your door to cut your lights off and you had a newborn baby in your arm, I use my damn discernment. Yo, I'm not cutting them lights off on that person today. And what I just tell you, at that point, I was making like $42 an hour. That's more than what some of these DJs is making that won't show us no love, right? I put my $42 an hour job on the line for my discernment. Yo, I'm not finna cut this lady off. Now, if I pulled up to cut your lights off and all the cars had rim on it and I could smell the weed coming out the door, there was empty Hennessy bottles everywhere, you probably could have paid this $250, bruh. So I'm finna knock these lights off and go about my business. I'm not finna lose my job for you. But the lady crying, the lady that's showing me that her check got intercepted, right, because of whatever, right? The lady that's showing me she just bought formula, her check was $180. Baby, put a lock on your gate so we can't get back in here until you get your shit together. And when a boss asks me, hey, man, why you ain't cut that off? Because, bro, that shit ain't right.
Man. Damn.
And that's a
real.
Shit,
that's
you know what?
Okay.
I almost cried, man.
Bro, that's That's discernment in its flesh right there. When you look up that word, Dilla need to be right there.
Word.
God damn it.
That shit real, man.
I mean, it made me forget what the hell I was finna say. Shit.
I appreciate you, brother.
On the real, most definitely appreciate you for sliding. Man, damn, Dilla. Let people know how they can, of course, get in tune with you. How they can donate to Chicago Mahogany Tour.
I'm on all social media platforms. The number 6FIGGA_DILLA 6figure_Dilla. All social media platforms. You can book a tour or make a donation to give away tours to neighborhood kids at ChicagoMahogany.com. Chicago MAHOGANY ChicagoMahogany.com. And again, that's at 6figure_Dilla.